Standard Rugby Podcast with Lawrence Dallaglio.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Evening Standard Rugby Podcast. I'm Lawrence Dallaglio, and after a action-packed weekend of Investec Champions Cup Rugby, joining me on this week's pod is Steve Cording from the Evening Standard. Steve, you look like you played this weekend or last weekend rather than just talking to me about it. How's everything?
Well, I would say I'm well, Lawrence, but it's I think 3 days on the smash, as you used to put it, is probably not what the order of the day was called for. So it was starting on Thursday at Chelsea, which you were delighted with the result. I wasn't. Yep. Friday, Quins, great result. Like that with a few mates. The worst of the three was Saturday, 1-year-old birthday party for little Zach. Started at 3. You'd think, well, that was quite nice and relaxed afternoon. Finished at 10:30.
Well, it's time we introduced our special guest. It is none other than Henry Arundell, 21 years of age, formerly of the London Irish parish, of course, and now with the mighty, glamorous Racing 92 in Paris, and of course 10 caps for England. Henry, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Afternoon. Thank you for having me.
You don't look like there was a mark on you. You had a pretty tough Investec Champions Cup pool this year. In fact, I think only winning one of your pool games, but obviously you still made it through to an away trip to Toulouse yesterday. And I'm assuming by the fact that you're in great shape, that you didn't get much of the pool.
No. It was a quiet game yesterday. Very frustrating for all of us. I think there's a lot to work on, but it's exciting. There's some good foundations and people to come back, people to join, and it's very exciting.
Tell me, because obviously for our listeners who don't know, Toulouse downed Racing by 31 points to 7. You only played them a few weeks ago in the top 14, and actually, I think the game, I don't know if you were involved in the game, but the game was actually very close. It was 31-28 or something. So what were the fundamental differences between that match, where you probably got a couple of bonus points, and the one where you didn't seem to fire a shot yesterday?
Well, I think the top 14 game was similar in the sense that we didn't fire a shot either. I think there's a risk that when you play against a team like Toulouse, there's almost the fear aspect, especially when you go away from home, and Toulouse got a very good crowd. And it was my first time playing there, and it was very cool. But it was very frustrating because 10-0 at half time, and we were kind of going, we haven't even fired a shot here, and we can still win this. So I don't think the scoreline actually reflects how close it was. And I don't think Toulouse would say that they battered us or anything. They definitely found it difficult. So that's what makes it almost more frustrating.
Your life has changed beyond belief. You're 21 years of age. I met your father actually at Dublin Airport after you'd made your debut for England, and we were having a nice little chat about the match, which you had to work very hard in because Freddie Stewart obviously picked up a red card. Your beloved London Irish went the same way as Was and Worcester, so you've had to sort of find another employer. You've ended up choosing to go to France. It's been an extraordinary 12 months really in your life. How would you sort of sum it up now that you're sort of settled, you're playing? Oh, by the way, you just happened to rock up in Paris to score a hat-trick on your debut as well, by the way. So that was obviously written in the stars, but that must have gone down quite well with the fans and the faithful in Racing.
Yeah, that was a good start. No, it's been a weird 12 months. It was weird watching the Six Nations and kind of even the Six Nations documentary. I had a 5-second cameo. Seeing myself from there was quite weird. So at least I can tell my kids I'm on Netflix.
You were in it 5 seconds longer than Lawrence. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, it's a crazy change, and the way it happened was obviously very sad. And having obviously experienced the World Cup, which is incredible, and then kind of thrown into the top 14, which is nothing like I expected. It's one of the most crazy leagues I think I've ever seen and come across. So different from the Premiership, but it's a fun challenge, and I've got 2 more years of it, so it's going to be fun.
I was going to say you've signed until 2026. Which,
yes, yeah.
Under the eligibility laws, rules you out of playing for England until then. As it stands, it might change. You never know. Was that a difficult decision? Because bear in mind, you're someone who's got 10 England caps, and I mean, without putting words in your mouth, you can't always guarantee you're going to get picked for England. And, you know, it couldn't have been an easy decision to rule yourself out, at least for the next 3 years. I suppose because you're only 21, you and your parents and your people around you probably thought, well, you know, I might as well enjoy it for the next couple of years, and then we can always come back and see what happens.
Yeah, it was a tough decision. A lot of people to talk to, but it was very much kind of like a development focus type thing. For me, yes, I was 10 England caps and played so many numbers for Irish, but I still really hadn't had the development I'd wanted and the regular playing minutes of top level rugby. And then I started with Racing, and obviously Stuart Lancaster head coach, Fred Mishlak and Joe Rocothoko as the backs coaches. And for me, it was kind of, I mean, I don't think there's any other club in the world where you're going to have coaches like this who've played at the highest level or coached and won everything, at least at the club level. So it was quite a simple decision in that sense of, right, if I want to get better as a rugby player and be the best version when I do come back and hopefully play for England or put myself in contention to play for England, that I'm really ready for it rather than kind of always just thrown into the deep end and having to adapt.
Yeah, and it feels like the timing of your contract signature, you know, it's a bit of a changing of the guard at Racing. You know, they've been a successful side, but they haven't necessarily got the trophies that all that success or the talent has deserved. You know, they've had some amazing players gone through there. Stuart Lancaster is now in charge, and I think he's probably taken a really good 360 view of the club, and I would imagine there's probably about to implement some change. You mentioned the other coaches, Michalak and Rocothoko, and I know you've got Paul Stridgen, aka Bobby, who is the leading S&C speed and conditioning coach in the world, was with me at Wasps, which probably explains some of his mentalness, and was also with the Lions, with Wales. I would imagine as a real character in the industry, he's had a real impression on everyone already.
Bobby is one of the most unique characters I've met in rugby. He's absolutely brilliant, and especially with the French, it's what I didn't appreciate enough was how different the French are culturally to us. It's a very different lifestyle in terms of how they train, how they want to play. And for someone like him who was at Toulon and was during that golden era of Toulon, he's obviously got experience, so he's quite good at either getting some of the lazy boys to start working or just get their energy up.
Yeah.
Yeah. How is your French? If I say "Comment ça va," are you able to engage?
Yes, I'm not that thick.
Yeah, please don't be one of those. Please represent us well, and don't be one of those Englishmen like Gareth Bale who refuses to learn the language. The only way you can get any respect from the French is by at least understanding what they're saying about you.
Probably.
I'd say my understanding's good. I can go through meetings not needing translation.
You having daily lessons or not?
No, lessons twice a week. I don't want to kind of too much French as you kind of get a bit drained from it. But no, it's not bad. I mean, it's difficult at Racing because it's such an English club in that sense, and you're in Paris. So whilst Paris is amazing, it's obviously very foreign compared to like a Toulon, which is quite hidden away.
When you came on TNT, formerly BT Sport, I think I was on the show, and you brought with you a little notebook, which I was very impressed by. You know, it's like you're like Elliot Daly with his briefcase. And you brought with you a notebook, and I think I asked you at the time what that was for. And if you were to look at that notebook again now, and obviously your life has changed over the last 12 months, what are the 3 objectives that you have over the next, over the contract term that you've signed at Racing?
Is to win a trophy. I think if we don't win a trophy in these next 2-3 years, well, this year, the year after that, if we don't win a trophy, then I'll see it as a disappointment. Just with the team and coaches we have, I think we have to win either Europe or top 14, and if not, do it more than once. And then individually get better as a player. You know, whatever that is, can't really put a limit on it. You don't want to put a limit on it, but it's. For me at the moment, it's amazing what I've seen kind of my development already with working with Fijian boys, working with the French boys. You know, you pick up skills, pick up ways they see the game, small little details. And then thirdly, obviously the cultural experience of it. You know, I'm very lucky to be living in Paris at my age. And for 3 years, it's going to be incredible traveling around France and meeting amazing people.
I mean, with Stuart Lancaster, he's obviously, an incredibly successful coach, has coached at international level and has worked at Leinster. And really, when you speak to the guys at Leinster, they speak very highly of Stuart. I mean, you've been playing most of your rugby on the wing, but do you see yourself with Stuart moving across that back three? Would you be playing at full back a bit as well and broadening your horizons in that regard?
Yes, yeah. He wants me to move around and experience different positions, and maybe even centre at some point down the 13 channel. And it's more just to gain experience everywhere, and you develop so many different ways when you play across those positions. So at the moment, it's not really setting my sights in one position. It's more just get better at rugby, then whatever number you have on your back, you just do the same thing you'd always do.
Is Siya Kolisi the nicest man in rugby? Because he does come across that way. Now that you're actually playing with him, he does seem to be, if you want an ambassador for rugby, he's the man you'd pick, isn't he?
He is, but I don't want to say that because his ego gets too big otherwise. But I'm sure he won't be listening to this. But no, he is.
He listens every week, doesn't he, Lawrence? I hope he does. If he doesn't, he does now.
He's got too many podcasts of his own, too many businesses to do.
That's true.
But no, he's incredible. What I was more impressed by how he can be normal as well.
Yeah.
As you know, in a change room, it's you obviously want guys who are like good guys and you can have good fun with, and he's exactly one of them. He's not just this walking brand. He can actually be a normal guy, and he can come chill at your house, etc.
I'm interested to know about the culture at Racing, and it's obviously changing because you've got new coaches, new players coming in, but you've got obviously a lot of French players, you've got a lot of international players, you've got World Cup winners, you've got superstars from everywhere. Do you all see, on day-to-day training, you've got young players like yourself, you've got some that have probably been at the club over a decade. Are you all in the same changing room, or do you split into? I would hope that the French integrate a little bit. I hope the South Africans, learn that there's more than one language in the world. And is it quite integrated, or is it? Can it be a little bit? You've got to have 30 caps to sit on a particular table.
Oh no! It's none of that. The French. That's what surprised me when I first arrived. I thought being English, I was going to get a cold shoulder. But they're extremely welcoming, and it's not too cliquey. Like there's not. That doesn't really matter we've got 2 guys in the squad who've won 2 World Cups, and some guys haven't been capped at all or barely played for Racing, and the treatment's similar. Everyone's on the same field, still training at the same level. The expectations are the same. So no, I think, especially with how Stuart does it, it's very good how he balances the young players and the very senior players.
And obviously by announcing yourself by scoring a hat trick on your debut, I mean, did that cost you a few euros in the evening? I mean, presumably you had to be brought back down to earth somehow, did you?
Of course. Again, that's what Stuart's good at. He's good at making sure that you're always trying to get better. He's definitely got a similar type of character like a Bill Belichick. Obviously, incredible NFL coach. So him, Joe Rockefeller and Fred are all very good at keeping you on track and never letting you get too big, especially even guys like Siya. Like there's meetings where Siya will get called out for not being good enough, and that's what keeps everyone humble, and it's hopefully going to make a very good team.
Right, and joining us fresh from the training ground is England centurion Marlie Packer. Marlie, good afternoon to you. You look like you're either in an aircraft hangar or a rather big gym.
Yeah, I'm just in the barn up here at Pennyhill Park. So we've just had a busy day, to be fair. Gym, organisational session, and then the front row are just doing some bits behind me. So yeah, then
it might get a bit noisy then.
Well,
is it?
it's normally time for tea, scones, club sandwiches, that kind of thing. No,
no, there's never enough time for that front row. So they're working hard. It's just technical stuff, so we won't get much noise from them or anything.
Listen, Scotland are your next opponent. Some of our listeners may not know much about them, what they've done in the tournament so far. You're not taking any opponent lightly. You're focusing on yourselves primarily. I get that, but give us an idea of where the Scottish women are at the minute and what the challenge you see coming up this weekend. Going up there, obviously, is never easy. I'll be honest, they don't like the English for very good reasons, but I'm sure you've got your own motivations as well.
Yeah, I think definitely we can write off Scotland at all. They beat Wales in the first game in Wales, which they haven't done before. Then they only narrowly lost to France, which I think it was 15-5, the final score of that game. And that was real late on for them to score. So we need to make sure we look after our own game. But they've got a lot of belief behind them as one. So we need to make sure that we go hard at them, and that actually, when we might not break them down in the first 20 minutes, but being patient with what we're doing, it will come. We are fitter, we are better than them, but it just takes time. And I generally believe that we're very direct in the way we want to play, confrontational, that the performance will look after itself. But depending on what the weather's like on Saturday, Scotland, the last couple of times I've been up there, it's either been gale force wind and snowing, or 22-degree heat, and it's like you're in Spain or Portugal. So depending on what the weather's like up there, to how our game plan will set the difference between them and us.
Now, we're looking at how we grow the game with our sponsor, QBE Business Insurance. Marley, for you, I know some of the girls went to watch the Lionesses at Wembley, didn't they? But how important is it to have female mentors to support women in sport? And who have been some of the most influential women in your own rugby journey, and why?
I think for me it's so important in that interlink between the two different sports as well, to actually show there's different avenues for different sports people. You might be a footballer, but actually you might pick up a rugby ball and really enjoy that. And I think, the content that we made with the Lionesses, with the rugby ball and the football being passed between each other, and then us wishing them good luck, that's just really good marketing to feed both sports and women's sport in general. But I think, for me, when I got into the England setup, and a captain, Catherine Spencer, is probably someone in and around the setup I just looked up to. I played with her at club. She put her arm around me every now and then when I probably wasn't being 100% red rose, being a bit of a tearaway Marley Packer back in the day. But also then I think that Super Saturday, Jessica Ennis, she was someone that absolutely I just idolised after that weekend. And I think, for me to be able to inspire like she did, I was never any kind of track and field athlete, but just someone I massively looked up to after that weekend. So even if it's someone that's not into rugby, but then can go, I love how Marley Packer goes about her stuff, that's what I want to be able to do.
So joining us now is the Evening Standard rugby correspondent Nick Purewal to look ahead to this weekend's Champions Cup quarter-finals, which see Bordeaux take on Quins, Leinster against La Rochelle, Northampton against the Bulls, and on Sunday we have Toulouse against Exeter. So go on, Bordeaux, Quins. Nick, do you think that Quins can overcome the odds there?
Unfortunately not. I think Bordeaux will win that, but I would like and hope to see Quins put their best foot forward and make a dent there. But I think it would be, especially after the exploits of last week, I think it's probably perhaps slightly beyond them.
Well, I'm going to go with Leinster victory at home to La Rochelle. Finally end their hoodoo. I think they've got a slightly better team.
Third time lucky.
The back row are stronger, and I think their defence is better now.
And Northampton.
And I'm going to go with Northampton. The Bulls is probably the one team that could upset the odds, but I just think the force is with Northampton at the moment, and they've got so much quality in their team.
And the last game, Nick, Toulouse, Exeter.
Toulouse all the way. I think, I think Lawrence is absolutely right. Exeter are in a development phase. They've got lots of talent, but it's lots of young players. Home advantage told for them last week, as we thought it might. But this weekend, I think Toulouse are a phenomenal side, and I think we heard it from Henry saying that when they get going, there's something to behold. And I think that it's not just their ability to play in so many different ways; it's the experience of winning, going through these things, and just the kind of extra pep in your step that can give you. And I think Exeter are a way away from that, but equally they do have the best coach in the league, to my mind, in Rob Baxter, in the Premiership, and obviously he and Mark McCall probably level, aren't they? But his best English coach and somebody who is building something which is, a new dynasty. It's going to come again, but it's not their time yet.
No, and we'll also give a special mention to Gloucester, who are the last remaining Premiership team in the Challenge Cup and now play the Ospreys in the quarterfinals.
I shall not be watching any of those quarterfinals. I'll be in Rome, pedalling furiously. In fact, I'll be closer to Nice than Rome by the time I get there.
Well, best of luck, I have to say. You're amazing for for doing this. It's a fantastic feat, and we wish you the best of luck getting round, and make sure you look after those blisters.
You will do. I'll need a very good meal when I get back. So my thank you to Henry Arundell, to Marley Packer, to Steve, Nick, and of course to VoxPod Studios for hosting us.